folks, welcome back to Maypole Farm, and I had said I was going to do some more contracts after I finished. I have not. I also noticed we need to do some repairs, so we're going to do that before we get to work. It is April 1. We have grass cutting to do. We then have to plough in the grass that's in as the cover crop. We then have to plant the corn, so we have a busy April ahead. But let's first, yeah, that could do with a repair. Thankfully it's cheap. That could do with a repair. Thankfully it's cheap. Doesn't need a service yet. Thankfully. That could probably do with a repair. Thankfully it's cheap. Doesn't need a service yet. While we're in here, baler, let's repair it as well. Tires look okay-ish. Awesome. Everything is still connected. Let's rock and roll. So I have fed the cows this morning, and I've worked out where in the field I think we need to keep grass for continuing with the zero grazing. Hopefully I've got that right. I think I might have been a bit generous, but I'd rather be generous than pessimistic, so we'll go with that. And did I say that we're going to be making hay? If I didn't, that's what we're going to be making today. So obviously, maybe not obviously, maybe you're not paying attention. If you're not, why aren't you paying attention? We have, let's now just make sure the working width is not 3.5 meters game. Working width is going to be, what is that? Let's call it 4.5. With an offset of, but working with more than that, so let's try again. Let's try and get the working width right first. That's not a million miles off, and then we need more offset. Point 2. More. 5. Less. Seven. Yeah. That looks workable. It's not perfect, but you know, better than it was. It's better than it was. Yeah, so we're going to make hay, because we've got some silage. We're going to be planting more silage. And so I think that makes sense. And I'm pretty sure if we go in here, this then needs ploughing, so we are going to be somewhat busy. Now remember, this is cover crop, so this is free hay essentially. But actually it's valuable feed, so we do want to get most of it off, but I'm not going to be super super worried if we miss the odd bit. If that triggers you, well, you know. Oh well. Oh, it's been a week, folks. It's been a busy old week. Culminating yesterday with a 14.5-hour working day, which for some of you is probably just Tuesday. Actually, it was Thursday for me. But, yeah. 14.5 hours of dealing with people. Kind of left the old brain box a little battered. So had an easy day today, and thankfully, 'tis the weekend, which is nice. Yeah, it's been a bit busy old week, and I've actually found lately, and I think I've sort of mentioned it a little bit. I'm only playing video games, simulations. Sorry, not all of them are simulations. When I'm doing this stuff, which is good and bad. So the good thing is I play games to relax, so I'm getting some relaxation time in. The bad is I'm just worn out all the time at the moment. But, you know, it kind of happens as life is busy and stuff, doesn't it? I'd like to say life will get easier, but never does it? Never does. So, la vie, folks. La vie. I used that expression at work today, and I'm not sure if I confused the person or not. But work's been interesting lately. Work's been interesting. In the may you live in interesting times kind of way. Definitely in interesting times at work. In a good but mentally challenging way. So yeah. It's added to the mental burden. But hey, we keep rocking and rolling. And I think I'm pretty much over being ill, apart from maybe some hangover tiredness. Not that it was a hangover in any way. But the weirdest thing for me is the persistent hunger. So I haven't taken antibiotics in probably maybe 18 years. No, I have, I lie. Probably 14 years. I'd forgotten one occasion where I had to take some. Which involved puddles with sheep dung in and taking a fence down. And cuts on my hands. I have, but they didn't seem to affect me in the way that the course of antibiotics I had to take recently did. In that, so I'm someone who used to eat normally a couple of times a day, and I was never a breakfast person. Breakfast is not the most important meal of the day. That is advertising by people who make breakfast foods to sell you breakfast foods, particularly breakfast foods designed by people like Kellogg's. And if you're ever interested, we can talk about Mr. Kellogg and why he developed the Kellogg family and why they developed the foods they developed for breakfast. Or you could look it up yourself. You have access to search engines on the interwebs. It's very interesting. Anyway, it's not the most important meal of the day. So I was typically someone who would eat twice a day, generally. But now I'm eating probably 4 times a day. It's getting better. There was a point where I would wake up at like 3 in the morning, ravenously hungry, and okay, so we need to be over here, and like unable to go back to sleep because I was so hungry. And I'd be having like breakfast, need to eat again in the middle of the morning, lunch, and then have to eat in the afternoon, and then dinner, and then have to eat before I went to bed. It was ridiculous. And I'm still eating way more than I normally would. So I've put that down to the antibiotics messing with my digestive system. But whether that's just my body trying to heal? Question mark? I don't know. It's, yeah. Change is bad, folks. We know this. We know this. Change is bad. So yeah, that's been kind of frustrating. Anyhow, Farming Simulator. It is a video game. It is a simulator. Some of you were saying. No, it is a video game. If you didn't see it, you should still have an opportunity, I think. I don't think they're sold out yet. I did a community post for Llama. It is happening. I will be there for some of it. Probably only the first day, because I have things that mean I will probably only be there for the first day. But the community meetup is happening again at the same hotel as last year after Llama. It is a ticketed event. You need to purchase a ticket. Yes, you have to purchase it this year. You have to pay for it. It is a very expensive event to put on, and therefore this year we are asking for people to contribute. I don't think it's going to... I wasn't involved in the costs of putting it on, but I do not believe that the cost of the tickets is covering all of the cost of the event. If you think that your ticket includes a t-shirt, for example. So yeah, there is a small cost to attend. You get food, you get a t-shirt, you get entry into a raffle, and there were some pretty awesome prizes last year, and a lot of people got prizes. So you get to meet your heroes, and maybe me. So yeah, go check out community post for that. What else? Giants have changed some things. So yield is rather low for bits of this. Anyway, my beef video from way back, grass was essentially useless for cows. It gave them no productivity and no health, which makes it useless. And I was chatting or I posted on FSB's Discord, and someone corrected me that it's been changed, and it has. So now, if you let cows graze, they will get 40% productivity, and their health increases. So that's kind of awesome. I mean, 40% is not great, but it doesn't work on here because I'm running custom stuff. But yeah, I tested it last night, and that's kind of cool. So if you're willing to accept very low productivity, I mean, I guess if you're doing beef and you can get their health up to 100%, that's kind of cool. Yeah. So we learned something, which is good. Learning is good. We like learning. It's interesting that Giants didn't really communicate that very well. Anywho, yeah, grass is not completely useless. So, something I was looking at was contracts. There is a rather nice potato planting contract, apart from the fact that when you look at the costs to do the contract in better contracts, it's going to cost 11 grand, because obviously you need a lot of potatoes to plant it. that got me thinking about what I was saying last time about a buy point for things, because we don't have the farm supply pack yet, I don't think. So recommendations down below, please, for a not insanely cheaty card deck, but kind of reasonably priced buy point for buying sensibly priced feed grade stuff. Because the reason I like the farm supply pack is I felt gave you sane prices for buying things to feed two animals, not 4 animals. We've got more than 4 animals. But yeah, so something like that would be useful, because we could do with some root crops, for example, until we get a root crop harvesting contract. And I think we're going to have to work harder on those this year to get more of an excess. And yes, I know I should be lifting the mowers up. I can't be bothered. It's been a long old week, as I said. And I don't have my mini keyboard next to me to do the easy raising and lowering of the mowers. So if it offends you, I don't give a turd. I'm just chilling out in my tractor. Got me sheepdog at my feet, literally. He's snoring quietly, because he's just been for a walk out along one of the farm tracks near us. And life is actually not that bad, really, is it? Yeah. Sitting in my fake tractor, having fun. So, one of the things that I often battle with farm sim content, more so with farm sim than the other games that I play, is the old problem of new maps. You know, we've had Saxlor come out. I've not played on Saxlor at all. We're going to be on here for a while. And obviously when I used to make a lot more farm sim content, I used to run like 3 Let's Plays. I just don't have the time at the moment for doing more of that. And I'm trying to go with 6 new videos a week at the moment, and should hit that this week. I'm actually hoping to do 7 this week, because beavers are beavering. But that depends if I can get another video recorded today, because generally Saturdays are wiped out with me being tired from running. That's a different story. Yeah, but that, and like all the Unimog stuff has come out, and I've got it installed on here, but it's probably going to be a while before we can use it, unless I end up spending a bunch of time hammering contracts in the background. But as I said, I'm just not finding the time with life to do that at the moment. There was a phase where work was quieter, where one might have occasionally played video games when one might have had spare time. But that don't happen often these days. Yeah. So a lot of the time, it's a case of, oh, that one did work. Okay. Is that going to work? No. Is that going to work? No. So Control V works, but not Control B or Control X. Fair enough. So I think maybe what we can do is come across here. I do have Courseplay installed. Yeah. Can Courseplay detect the working width of all of this? Let's let's come in here. Turn that off. See if we can get course plate set up for this. Five. It was a bit more than 5, I think, wasn't it? I drop that down. That feels a bit too wide. That feels too far across. That feels like it should work. If we go temporary course, fieldwork settings, 2 headlands. Start working on headland. Generate me a course, please. Show all. And then this is the point where I'm trying to preserve from. But we've already mown it, so if we come in here, I think if we go from there, nearest waypoint, and run that, that might well work. Because we can certainly run the tedder, and I don't even know if we've got a windrower, to be honest. Let's have a look. Vehicles. We've got a windrower. I don't remember, so header, no. So we're going to need to buy or lease a windrower. Yep, that's going to work. Awesome. So we'll let that do its thing. We can jump in here. We could maybe use the little tiny doits, but this will be better. Let's hook up. And off we go. Magic instant hay. Because that's how you make hay in the real world. Oh, no. Took that. Come on. Yes, yes. Alright. Set up the old GPS. Lines on. Bosh. Let's get back in the vehicle. Switch on. And off we go. Cool. So hopefully that will work, and if we have a little peek in the old store, any windrowers on sale? Negative. Okay, so we'll be leasing a windrower. I do have the hire purchase mod added in now actually, but I don't really want to take out more debt at the moment because we've got a big old loan, so that probably wouldn't be the brightest move. We'll go a bit wide there. We can always tidy some of this stuff up. Yeah, we've got a big old loan at the moment. I believe, how much have we got? Yeah, we've got 320 grand still outstanding, so that one contract, yeah, so that was the sewing contract. Cost of materials 11 grand. We've got a mobile contract that probably worth grabbing for silage. I don't know if they require particular types of bales. Probably not. So we could do that, and we could do it with our baler. get ourselves some spare silage bales. Wouldn't be a bad idea, I don't think. Probably need to return that cedar that we've got leased as well. This is 7 grand's worth of hoeing contracts there. There's definitely money out there for us, but we should concentrate on the primary job of getting this field turned around. So because we need to get the corn in the ground. I did have a moment when I loaded the save up that I hadn't planted the oats, and I kind of panicked. But I have, so that's good. Yeah. I also had a moment last week where I thought I wasn't going to be available when the next part of the season pass drops, but I will, which is also good. Because I'm kind of looking forward to that one. Not so much the fishing, more curious to see what Giants do for a UK map, although how much of it is Giants, how much of it is mod mapper maybe, question mark, we'll see. Or map mod make words. I'm more interested in like the old JCB that's going to come with it and that kind of stuff. Yeah, as I said before, if I want to play a fishing game, I've got 2 of them on Steam that I can play. That are specific fishing games. You know? It's like if I want to play a game to build a boat, I don't do it in Farm Sim, I do it in Stormworks. Because that's a game where you can build things. And you don't just deliver trees to a delivery point. And if I wanted to just deliver trees to a delivery point, I'd probably play something like Spin Tires or Mud Runner or whatever. You know? Specific games for specific jobs. This is Farming Simulator. Yes, and I know it's called Farmed Fish. But it's not the thing, is it? You know? If you look at the box, there's a picture of a tractor on the front of it, not a fish. So, maybe there will be in the future, and I'm wrong. You can see what I've cut so far from that with the things. Yeah. Good words. The feeding. We can also see that we have weeds coming up in our oat field, so we might need to get the old hoeing going on this month as well. We've got a lot to get done this month. We might just let them grow out. So screw it. Who knows? What I do know is it's kind of cool to be getting on with this job finally and making the progress. I think we'll skip rows. Bosh. Is the mod that I installed working? Yes. So I installed the mod to disable lines and I wasn't paying attention to see whether it was actually disabling them, but it is, which is rather nice. So the graphics are being a little bit jittery. Please tell me I've not gone back to... No, we are still on our custom graphic settings. Good. Just the game being the game. I will turn cruise control off. Thank you, game. flow going. Yeah. So I think I will get this job done and be back in a little while. Something very, very random. As we do the last few rows of tedding. I can't remember. I was listening to something on YouTube. The LTT Wan Show podcast. A couple of weeks ago. And they were jokingly talking about Dan, the producer, having Yakuza style tattoos. Which got me remembering a anime that I used to watch when I was much younger about a Yakuza hitman. It was Crying Freeman, which I think was only available on VHS, which gives you an idea of how old it is. So video cassette for those of you that are not of the correct age. But I managed to find it on the Internet Archive. Because it's so old, I assume it's essentially abandonware at this point. And I started watching it again, and it was really quite crazy how something that I haven't watched for probably the best part of, I want to say 30 years. I started watching it and it literally just came flooding back into my mind. I've only watched the first episode, but yeah, it's just like, I probably watched that in my late teens many times. One of my friends loved it, so we would watch it quite often. And yeah, it's just like, how does this thing exist in my brain from so long ago? But yeah, that was so cool. I couldn't even remember the name of it when I was trying to remember this thing, and a little bit of googling, and I found the name of it, and yeah, very cool, very cool. I used to be quite into, and my friends used to be quite into like anime and stuff like that. And I think pretty much everything that I used to watch now is almost really hard to find because it was all VHS. It was like 30 plus years ago. I think some of them I've still got in the loft. But then it's like, well, how do you play them? We do have a video cassette player still, but I don't think it works. But yeah, it was really cool. It was very much a nostalgia moment, and yeah, I enjoyed it. And I think the mowers are just about finished. So I'm hoping 2 headlands is okay for this one as well. We'll find out shortly. Yep. Looks like it will be. Let's fire that up. Looks like we might need to run down that one as well. So let me get repositioned. Let me come in here, turn those off. And then we need to get a windrower. But yeah, that's then left that nice big chunk of field for the zero grazing, which is what we need. Come on. Turn. 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 There we go. So you can go. Turn that off. Awesome. You're done. Right, we can. I wonder if if it's worth us going in here. Save core. Create folder. I think we need to do that first. Mowing. Save core. Save course. Mowing. Pasture. Okay. We can clear it off. Just so that I don't have to work out that offset again. And then we need a windrower. Then we just need to windrow and bale. All will be good with the world. I think that needs to be unfolded to be dropped off. And we're just going to drop it there for now. Yeah, right. Windrowers. That's not bad. 7 meters. 8 meters for 19 grand. God, that's kind of tempting. Except it's 90 grand. What would it cost to lease that? 5 grand. No. You're having a laugh. Let's go for that one, because it's a bit different. Ooh. 8 meters. Lease. Yes, please. Because I think we've used the Samas one so many times. And 8 meters is a nice working width. Again, we could maybe put this on the little doits, but I think we'll go for this, because it'll be a bit quicker to get the job done. Let's hold up. Let's plan to go this way around the field, which is probably technically the wrong way, but I'm a rebel without a clue, so 2 headlands will be enough. Oh, we need to put the lines back on. I can see where I'm going. And off we go. Awesome. And that it's giving us a pretty chunky swath, actually. Chunky swath. It's a band from the late 90s, I believe. So yeah, we'll get windrowing done. And we'll get baling done, at least on this field. We might not get bale stacking done on this field. Just because I don't know whether we'll have time today. Because I need to go start making food in a little while. Did I mention about the whole hungry thing? Yeah, I think I did. So, but we'll try and get baling done as well. But we're going to need this tractor to run the baler as well, I think. So, yeah. One of the things is, so, yeah, I've made 1 or 2 farm sim videos. 1 or 2. I still sometimes struggle to ramble away through the whole thing, which is weird because, like, with the Timberborn videos, with the Schedule 1 videos, I just talk about what I'm doing. But with farm sim, that kind of gets a bit redundant, and it's like, okay, I'm windrowing now. I'm coming up to the corner. I'm turning the corner. I've turned the corner. You know, so it is what it is, isn't it? Anyway, it's kind of nice having more than one tractor working. It's been a while since we've had that going on. I do kind of like it. But yeah, we need to sort. Well, we've got until August to sort out feeding more crops to the animals. Animals being the cows, because until we've got offspring. Maybe July, because I'd like to start increasing their productivity before the calves come out. So yeah, maybe July. But until then, it really doesn't matter that they're not producing peak amounts of poo. So, but I mean, really, some root crops or some grain would be good, or both. The other thing that we need to double check as we destroy this least windrower, job its least, is the old time-saving stock check. Nope, because it's not in a, because it's on the floor. In that case, finances, prices, soybeans, July, so we've got a few months yet, because we've got our pile of soybeans to sell. Gosh, let's go get around this done, get the headlands done, and we will be good. Yeah, and that's going to be a nice bit of income, isn't it? I can't remember how many soybeans we got. Well, how many litres, because we don't count the individual ones, because that would be kind of stupid. But yeah, that'll be a nice little hit of income. So, which I would kind of like. Because I don't think we're going to get a lot of time for doing contracts this month. Particularly with using workers to do things in our own fields. So, yeah. Hopefully it's not going to take all of it's kind of janky, doesn't it? There we go, thank you. Hopefully it's not going to take us too long to get this windrowing done. I'm curious as to how many bales we will get. Many would be good. Probably need to make them a sane size or putting in mixer. Probably makes sense to make them as small as we can, essentially, because otherwise mixing food, because we keep having to do like half bales and stuff anyway. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of the nature of the beast, isn't it, with doing TMR, but I don't mind. I'm enjoying having the cows and playing the video game, which is good. There we go, and then we can pick this one off. There we go, yeah, there we go, awesome. Yes, I have a fair, so random, I have a fair bit of cooking to do this afternoon, because tomorrow is another long run day. If you don't care about running, close your ears, I know. The last long run before ultramarathon, and part of training for running ultramarathons is training your stomach. So, and part of being neurodivergent the way I am is liking to eat the same food, and that goes together hand in hand, because that means I eat the same food at the weekend around my running. So Friday involves cooking meals for Saturday. Not sure if we're just re-windrowing this. We could have combined those, couldn't we? We could combine those. Yeah, so I need to cook my food for tonight. I need to cook my food for tomorrow morning before I go running, and my food for tomorrow afternoon, because when I get back I'll be knackered. So yeah, which probably 90% of you don't really care about, but I don't care. I don't know if you've seen, depends, I guess. I don't know whether YouTube will have served it up to most of you. There's been this big controversy with big YouTubers about them losing lots of views lately. And there's a bunch of theories. Don't think it's particularly affected me. I have a lot less views at the moment, but I think that's because of not producing evergreen content. So not making tutorials means people aren't watching tutorials a lot, so I'm just getting people watching the videos I make every week. I don't think so, but my numbers are down quite significantly, but I think it's unrelated. But yeah, there's causing a bit of a stir in those that rely on YouTube for income. I don't know if it's hit people like Mr. CDP and DJ and those guys. It may have, because from what I've seen, it tends to be people who make long form content for specific like gaming audiences and stuff. So it may have hit them, but apparently it doesn't affect income, which is weird, but not necessarily weird, because one of the explanations I've seen is that YouTube have. So one explanation is they've done something to stop the counting of views where people are using ad blocker. Another one is that it was specifically related to AdBlock Plus, and YouTube blocking that completely. That's a video I watched today. And the date tied up apparently with a surge in searches for is YouTube broken and some stuff to do with that. And that kind of makes sense, because a lot of the analysis showed that although views were down, revenue wasn't down, because people who use AdBlock Plus obviously stop YouTubers making money from the content that they make, or any ad blocker, because, well, it may surprise you, but if you don't see the ads, the people who make the video don't make money. And so that's where most of mine comes from, is YouTube ads. So yeah, I think some of these big, some big channels, I think LTT did a video on how they make money, and most of their money does not come from AdSense, because they're obviously a big company, but it will vary creator to creator. So ads are annoying, but they pay people's bills. I have YouTube Plus, Premium, whatever it is, so I don't see ads. But I still contribute, because that goes to creators. So because I got kind of annoyed of ads, but equally I understand that people need to make money for the time they spend doing the thing for people to watch. Because it's quite time consuming, Game really doesn't look its best today. Very confused. I think there's been some NVIDIA updates, whether that's messed things up. I will have to check all of my settings again, I think. Which is really frustrating. Really annoying. Change it bad, remember, folks. Change it bad. So that's all the windrowing done. So yeah, we'll do the other field another time. Now it's been cut and windrowed. I want to focus on getting this one cleared, because then we've got to get it ploughed and planted. Ooh. It's a rental. It'll be fine. Right, let's pick this beta out of here. I'm abandoning loads of stuff in the way. Awesome, we've got a decent amount of bale twine still. And an almost full straw bale. I wonder if this is going to come out as straw or hay. Place your bets, folks. The answer was hay. That 2% hay made all the difference. What we're going to do is that, and then pick up and do that short run. And we'll get that long run when we come across the top, because it'll be easier. And easy is sometimes better. So yeah, grab that. Come back there. Need to grab a thumbnail. So let's do that before I forget. Love this mod. So good. Bosh. Yes, I put that much thought into my thumbnails sometimes. It at least means I haven't forgotten. So. And maybe that's why I don't get bajillions of views, but do my thing, I have fun, and that's kind of what it's about, really, folks. It is, after all, as I often say, a hobby, not a job for me. So, and do you know what? The although the numbers are down, it's been so much better this year, or this game release. So you may or may not know, depends how new you are. With FS25, I changed a fair bit what I do. I've done a lot less modding this time. Not that I did a lot of modding, but did less modding this time. I have intentionally done less tutorial type content, and it's been a lot better for my brain. Because there's been a lot less difficult commenters. And frustratingly, they live in my head far too much when they come. So yeah, it's been good. I've had a lot less stress with dealing with, like stolen mod content and stuff, because it's not been there for the people to steal. So yeah, it's been better. It's been better for my brain health. Not having to check every UK map that comes out if they've used the stuff that I produced without asking me, because at one point, probably a fair percentage of them were. There were a lot of, in FS22, there were a lot of maps that used my UK growth stuff without asking. And it was always a pain in the arse to deal with. And often it was from modders that should have known better. And it was, yeah, it always used to cause me a lot of stress and frustration, and so not having to deal with that is really nice. I did say I was going to do stuff with bale size, didn't I? I really haven't, so we're probably getting mahoosive bales, but yep, we are. Let's get smaller bales for some of this. This is going to be a pain to deal with now, but anywho. Yeah. And yeah, I wasn't the only person who did stuff with changing the growth calendars in 22, but I was one of the first, I think. And obviously it got, maybe not obviously, it got included in Calmston, and people then just started pilfering it from maps without asking, and it had my name in it, so, and it's not that hard to search for it. There were videos of how to install it, so it wasn't that hard to find it. To ask people were downloading it off of King Mods, which has a message facility on it, and putting it in their maps. Yeah, and there were a few other things where people took stuff and did stuff. So it's much better not having to worry about most of that. I'm still, so this week's been so mental. I haven't finished yet. I'm still doing the cover crop video. Just haven't had the time. So something I've been trying to focus on to help with the fatigue is sleep. But because I wake up and get up so early, so most days I wake up at 5 a.m. Either because I've got to get up to go to work, or because I get up and wake up that time anyway. I'm not a person that can stay up late to do things, so to get more sleep, that means going to bed earlier. And to try and get better quality sleep, I've been trying to be more chilled out in the evenings, so like not doing stuff on my laptop late into the night, not editing videos until last minute. But on Wednesday, I finished recording a Timberborn video at like 8 p.m, something like that, and rather than sitting doing the editing and uploading, which would have taken, the editing doesn't take too long, but rendering and then uploading it would have been another couple of hours or more. Rather than doing that and trying to get it all done that night, I just left it. Switched all computers off and just chilled out, listening to some stuff on YouTube. And that, you know, it's to help me try and sleep better, which is good. But it's not so good for trying to cram out stuff. Or play more video games even, because I'm turning the computer off. Anywho, we are pretty much done. Which is good, because I really do need to go cook food. So I will, he says, but you know he probably won't. How many bales have we made this session? Let's finish Oh, hail. Nice. That's good for the hay. Adds moisture. Adds crunchiness. Cows like crunchy hay. Right. B-Y. Oh, so close to a full bale. Oh. Oh. There's some there. Let's get that picked up as well. Awesome. What I didn't check is how many bales we had before we started. But, statistics. Bales. So we made 21 bales of a variety of sizes. Which is not bad off of that field. I am not disappointed. I am going to say thank you to the YouTube channel members and the patrons. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel. And comments, questions, suggestions down below. If you don't want to do any of that, go load your dishwasher. And I'll see you next time.